Chris, first man in the chat. Yo, how's it going? Looks like it's just me and you for the time being. Looks like it's just me and you, Chris. Hey, Matteo is here. Matteo was busy the other night, if I remember correctly. How was your busy stuff? I hope it was good. Ah, beautiful, beautiful power supply. Good evening, Dirt Technic. Evening, Gladboy. Evening, Nicholas. I'm glad Nicholas is here. Hello, hello, hello. Hello to everybody in the live chat. How's it going on your Thursday evening? It's Friday tomorrow. Friday tomorrow. There will be no live stream tomorrow because I shall be in London. It's got a bit warmer in here now, so I can take my hood down. I shall be in London and having a great time. Busy making new music. Oh, nice. I need to subscribe to your SoundCloud. I think I did. I can't remember. I need to subscribe to Matt's SoundCloud. Matt's SoundCloud is good. It's very nice. Muy bien. So we are looking at this flipping Banff. This badass motherfucker. Or big ass fucking nightmare. So, I want to show you something that is very strange with this amplifier. Now, we might not actually be going ahead and repairing this amplifier on the live stream because I've pretty much thrown hours and hours and hours at trying to find where the fuck this issue is, and I cannot find it. So, this is what it's doing, and this is very strange. This is like there's a ghost. There's a ghost in my amplifier. Check this out, okay? So it's almost like I have the magic touch. You know, as people say, I have the magic touch. I can fix this amp, I have the magic touch. Well, yes, that is actually the case here. My magic touch fixes this amplifier, and as soon as I stop touching it, the amplifier stops working. So let me show you what I mean. Let's get my probey probe here. Nicholas, I hope you're watching this. This is fucking weird, man. This is fucking weird. I've never seen this before. So, probey the high side drive. So this is with a signal driven into the amplifier through the RCAs, okay? So without the signal driven, it doesn't do anything. Without the signal driven, it just... So I have to drive a signal in to get an attempt at building the high side drive. Now, if I use my magic touch and I touch the high side drive... Come on. Come on, it was working a minute ago. Come on. Do the thing where you work. There we go. So if I touch the high side drive, it changes every time I turn it on. I think I need lower voltage. Or higher input voltage. If I touch the high side drive, it starts working most of the time. Maybe if I touch the high side drive down here, maybe it prefers that. There we go. So if I'm touching the same thing, I'm just touching all three at once using this down here. So if I touch the high side drive, it changes and starts to kind of work. There we go. But then as soon as I let go of the high side drive, see it's continuing to work almost when I touch it here. Come on, literally just before I started the stream I could touch it with just my fingers and it would start working immediately, whereas now I'm having to fiddle around with it, which is just typical, isn't it? Just typical. So yeah, so it only works when I'm touching the high side drive. So I'm wondering, there's obviously something strange going on here with the high side drive, and I believe it's something to do with the capacitance of my body. So if you think about the human body has a capacitance, and obviously I am then adding a a small line of capacitance to the high side drive up here. And maybe if I change the frequency, does that help? Or maybe if I increase the level a little bit, maybe. It was doing it really nicely a minute ago. I could literally just touch it, and it would come into operation the second I touched it. You can see how touching it makes a massive difference to what this amplifier is doing. So without touching it, we have like a double build attempt on the drive here. When I touch it, it changes that, and if I touch it enough, then we finally get, there we go. See, operation. See that? So it's just depends where I touch it. There we go. That's it. That's the ticket. That's how you do it. So it's when I touch this, it starts working. So it's fucking weird. So people think it's maybe a ground issue or a cap. I've literally spent so many hours on this. I've gone through all the diodes, all the capacitors, or I've gone through all the vias, everything I can think of. I've rewound the transformers. So the inductors, I thought it was maybe the inductors that were the issue. So I took a donor inductor. This is a dual inductor from another amplifier board, and I fitted it, and the amp did exactly the same thing. It was doing the exact same thing. So the inductor, changing the inductor made no difference whatsoever. So the inductors are absolutely fine, and they both read at 0.8 millihenries. So the inductors are no problemos whatsoever. It's just when I add my body capacitance to this board, there you go, it works, and off, there you go, I've made it work again. So by touching this in a certain way, there we go, now we have the drive. That looks good. That looks, because we've got an RCA signal fed into this, so it's going to wobble like that. Then as soon as I let go, it's bad again. I am completely baffled. I've spent so many hours doing this, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Hold one hand on the ground. Hell no! Nicholas, what are you trying to do, my friend? No way am I holding one hand on the ground. I'm going to get some nasty shock. Because on the high side drive, of course, there's plus and minus, what is it, 60, 80 volts. So if I touch one hand on the ground and I touch the high side drive, I'm going to get this nasty shock on my hand. Does this amp use a high side, low side driver? It has a single driver IC, which is an IR2113S. So it's a driver IC. Yeah. I've tried changing that, and there's no difference either. Static from your body. Yo, how's it going, Carlos? High resistance on ground. Your body had a low resistance, so it chooses your path to ground. I don't know why the high side drive would be grounded though. The coil is not loose. It's not when I move the inductor. The inductors are fine. I've spent many hours on the inductors. I even swapped the inductors around. The inductors are fine. Could be a high side driver capacitor issue if it uses a high-low side driver. It has the high and low side drivers are integral into the driver IC. So the driver IC is I'm gonna have to change the camera angle. Okay, so here's our drive circuit for anybody that's interested. This is our drive circuit. So we have the op amp here, which is doing some of the generation, and then we have the LM211, and then we have this chip, which is some kind of intermediary chip, which is a 4BCSELK. Fucking yeah, so that's like an intermediary. I guess that's doing some of the Class D bullshit. and then it goes to this 2113S, which is the main driver IC, and that then passes through a couple of 33 ohm resistors, and there's a couple of Zener diodes here as well. So the drive passes through these resistors and these Zener diodes before going to the gate resistors, and then the gates of the FETs. Works. It doesn't work. It works. It doesn't work. It works. It doesn't work. I'm so close. The only reason that I'm still actually bothering with this amplifier is I'm so close. Let's see. So the high side drive is also here on this little pad. So if I push this pad, which attaches my body to the circuit, it starts to work, but not quite as good as if I touch all three of the back of these. If I touch all three of the back of these, it works the best. Check the cap near the bootstrap diode. You'll have to explain that a little bit better. Bootstrap diode. This is where I needed electronics school to know all these names of things, because I didn't do any of that bullshit. So maybe that's this capacitor here. So this capacitor here, what might be useful for anyone that's interested is if I go through where the high side drive is connected to. So the high side drive is connected to this capacitor here. Okay. It's also connected to obviously these small Zener diodes here, because this is the drive. So we've got the low side drive. You can see they're flickering, the low side drive, and the high side drive on here. It could be a low side. Well, the drive issue isn't the fact that it's not like just the high side drive that's an issue. It's the whole drive that's the issue. But by touching the high side, it resolved the issue. I could try. Should I try touching? I could try touching the low side drive. See if that does anything. I want to make sure I'm not grounded, of course. So touching the low side drive doesn't do anything. Doesn't help out at all. So only when I touch the high side drive, it does something. On the high low side driver. So where's the capacitor here? I'm not seeing a lot of other capacitors around here. C15. C15. Yeah. So yeah, this one then. Okay, cool. Let's remove this from the board and let's check that. See what that's saying. Discharge the board. What's everyone up to tomorrow then on their Friday night? Anyone got any plans? Going out anywhere? Working? Finishing builds? Let me know. What's the most frequent? What's the most frequent incidents? Open or shorts? I don't know. It's kind of 50-50 really. It depends what the part is. Probably shorts maybe. I mean, because FETs and transistors generally short, so I guess short is most common because mostly it's the FET that dies. So I guess you could say that shorts are more common. Have you tried loading the high side with a small capacitance value to ground? I did consider that, Choose. I did consider doing that. I was going to see if I could find a small capacitor and put it across the high side drive and the ground. But I don't know. I would need a I need a non-polarized capacitor for that, I think. And I don't know. I was just trying to work out if I had something like that. So I've got one of these. I've got one of these bad boys here. So this has 225K written on it. I can't remember what value this is. So I mean this is definitely non-polarized, and this is definitely a high-ish voltage cap, I think. So I could try this says 225K 250D. So I could try and put this across the high side if I can remember what value it is, what voltage it is, so I don't blow it up. And see if it does anything different. Seems to me like the instability like that would be the result of some kind of feedback issue somewhere in the drive circuit. Yes, I agree. I think it's really strange. This is why I thought that maybe there was a bad via somewhere. So I went through the whole of the flipping board and I you know, redid all the vias. It definitely does seem like a feedback issue. Nicholas says, no, do not connect cap from high side to ground. Okay. Okay, we will not do that then. I'm just trying to think about my body and so I'm trying to think logically about what is my body doing to the circuit that is allowing it, this changing it, allowing it to come on. Like, the only thing I can think is that my body is acting like a capacitor. Okay, so that's that small cap removed. So let us see then, what does the cap read on the tester? Your body could be storing charge, helping to filter the switching from the bootstrap diode, and the cap has to do this function. Okay, cool. So fingers crossed then, maybe this is our problem. I did wonder if it was this cap earlier, but I don't know, I thought, I was trying to wonder why it would have died. Ah, damn it, come on, stupid thing. Okay, so this is reading as 47.5 microfarads with an ESR of 0.89 ohms. So this is the results of the capacitor. This is what the tester is reading. What do you think? ¿Qué piense? .470 picofarads to 1 N is human body average capacitance into fingertips. Nice. That's pretty cool info. Nice one, Carlos. Oops, that's now turned off. I mean, this capacitor could still be dodgy, so I could try and replace it anyway. Sometimes the tester doesn't pick up on all the faults. you could check the bootstrap diode, and I'm assuming that's the Zener next to it. So that'll be this one here. So let's remove that one next. I'm just gonna. I've got some really bitchin' pain in the arse amplifiers lately. The last couple of live streams has mostly been Bearvidge plays with the amplifier while Nicholas tells him what to do. that's been the last couple of live streams. Fucking headache ones lately. Real headache ones lately. I have done a few easy ones off camera. Like sometimes if there's ones that I've already done a video on, or similar circuits I've already done a video on, I won't necessarily bother live streaming those ones. And to be fair, we did find the issue with the atomic quite nicely as well. But yeah, these last couple of amps, the Banff, and what else? What else have we struggled with? So the Phoenix Gold, Tantrum. What else have we struggled with? There was something else as well. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, it just seems to have been a few headaches lately. Oh, and the flipping SSL. That's been a headache as well. So we've got quite a few headache amplifiers lately. Okay, so this is what the diode's reading as. Yeah, this is what the diode is reading as. I'm going to read it on my multimeter as well, because that's a little bit more accurate way of doing it. Santiago, the menu for today is I'm going to see whether I can do anything to get this this Banff up and running, because the customer is like, yeah, the customer is kind of like wanting it back and can't seem to find the fault with it. There's something stopping it from working on the high side drive. It's nothing. It's like a really small fault. So on diode mode setting, we've got on the multimeter, on the diode we've got 472 one way, and we should have infinite the other way. If we have a reading the other way, then there's an issue. Yeah, okay, so we have infinite the other way. So the diode seems okay because it's doing the diode thing that it's meant to do. So I don't think that's a problem. I would love to do an amplifier build from scratch one day, but I'm not there yet with my knowledge. The amount of the knowledge set required to build your own amplifier is quite in depth. I'm not there yet. Nicholas can. Nicholas can do it. I can't do it yet. Okay. So let's just see whether reflowing any of those things has made a difference. You know, at this point in the amplifier is very, very, very almost repaired, very nearly repaired. It's literally so close to being repaired. And there's obviously one tiny, teeny little thing that's stopping the feedback circuit from working properly, and the Class D switch from building properly. So this point is very closely repaired, and so it could just be something like a cold solder joint which is causing the issue. So every time I do a bit of soldering, I'm just going to fire her back up and see if that changed anything. Nah, it's still got issues. Still not happy. So, once you place the parts back, can you measure with the multimeter the voltage across that cap? Yeah, sure. Let's have a look. Do you repair car DIN type CD receivers? Nah, I don't do head units. So what do we have across the cap? We have, it sort of fluctuates around, so it's kind of like 0 volts, but it's kind of flying around a bit. Probably because the switch wave isn't building. So if I remove the RCAs, okay, from the amplifier, if I remove the RCAs, the switch wave doesn't try to build; it just sits dormant. Yeah. So there's nothing. If I remove the RCAs, the amplifier is just sitting doing nothing with no Class D switch. So if I measure the voltage across this cap, then with it sitting dormant, we have 0.2 volts across it when the amp's sitting dormant. With the output FETs out the board, the low side drive looks beautiful. That's the thing. The drive circuit itself is fine, and we know that the drive circuit itself is fine because when we do the thing where we get the amplifier to work, the drive looks great. It looks fine when we do this thing. So I know that the drive circuit itself is fine. It's like obviously some kind of feedback circuit that's not happy. So when I do the thing that makes the amp work, which changes every. There we go. So when I touch it and hold it and make the amp work, the drive waves look beautiful, as does the low side drive. The low side drive looks great as well. So if I probe the low side drive, and I zoom in on that thing, so it's looking bad just now, but then when I touch it, hang on a minute, what the fuck? Oh shit! Hang on a minute. What? Wait a second. Hang on a minute, it's staying on without me touching it this time. What? What have I done? What did I do? Although, right, okay, so it's currently on and I'm not touching it. It's currently working and I'm not having to touch the thing to make it work. Okay. If we probe the low side drive, this is what I was doing just now. Oh, now it's turned off again. No, what the fuck? No, it hasn't. What the fuck? Where's the? Oh, here it is. So if I probe the low side drive, okay, that's a really shitty looking low side drive. So why does that look so bad? That's almost like. That's almost like the gate resistors are too damn high. But everything's original at the moment. So why does the low side drive look fucking shitty as that? Nicholas says it should be close to 12 volts. So why does the low side drive look so bad just now? So the amplifier is currently working. Rare. Right, okay, so now the amplifier is working. Let's see what makes it not work. Okay, so the amplifier is working. So if I remove the RCAs, does it then stop working? No! Holy shit! This is the first time in history that I've ever had this amplifier functioning, actually working, without having to drive it with RCA signal or touch anything. But I haven't done anything. I haven't fucking done anything. Let's measure across that cap now that Nicholas was talking about. Now that the thing has come up and running. What the fuck? Okay, so I can't measure with the thing on because it goes beep without me even touching the other probe, so I don't want to do that. Can you measure the voltage across the cap again when it's working? I don't know if I can. It beeps at me. Like, it shouldn't even be beeping because it's not even on diode mode. It's on voltage mode. And it beeps at me, so I'm not sure if I want to measure the voltage across that. If I take my probe, because obviously there's high side switch across this cap, so if I take my probe you can see the high side switches across the cap. So yeah, we've got the high side switch on one side, and on the other side we have also nothing. What the fuck? It's now turned off again. Rare. I wonder if it is that cap, because you see when I was probing that cap just now, it stopped working again once I started fucking around with that cap. So maybe Nicholas was right. Maybe Nicholas was right. There is something. So maybe if I change that cap. Actually, it's not actually soldered itself down properly. That's really interesting. This cap hasn't soldered itself down properly. So this cap wasn't actually soldered down correctly just now, but it was actually working just a second ago. So I'm wondering whether it was working without the cap in place. Let's try and recreate what we just did. Let's try and recreate what just happened. Let's try and touch the thing again to make the thing come on and work. Okay, almost there, almost there. Yeah. Okay. Right, so it works with the cap connected. And then if I remove... So it's the cap! Holy fucking shit! Nicholas! No fucking way. Rare. This guy knows his shit. This guy knows his shit. Literally, like, properly knows his shit. I've been fucking around with this for God knows how long. Rare. Okay, let's see if I've got a spare cap that sort of value. What do I need? 47 UF and 50 volts. 47 microfarads and 50 volts. See what I got. Maybe we can finally bench this bullshit thing. In that case. So I'm looking for 50 volts and 47 microfarads. I don't know whether I've got another one of those caps that's that same value. I do have some caps in my drawers actually that are similar to that. Yeah, if this thing works now, if I change the cap and this thing works, I would quite like to send Nicholas a donation for the repair costs of this, because obviously I'll be paid for this repair, but Nicholas found the issue potentially. If Nicholas found the issue, I'd quite like to send a donation to Nicholas. No, these aren't right. Need a cap that's that value. $50 volt, 47 microfarads. That's a pretty big cap actually, isn't it? It's, I've got 25 volt and 470 microfarads. 50 volt, 100. Nicholas says no need, just enjoying the live feeds. That's awesome, man. Like, but honestly, I really like over the last couple of live streams, I've just had the most fucking headache amplifiers that have had issues that I have not dealt with before. And that's the thing, doing like, so jumping in the deep end with the amplifier repair stuff, it's all fun and games all the time that you've got amplifiers that come in with sort of repetitive faults that you've maybe seen before or that you can quite easily trace back. Whereas the thing with jumping in the deep end and not taking electronics classes, so I would perhaps recommend that if you do want to get into this, maybe take some electronics classes. And I might do the same. I might actually go and jump in and do some sort of courses or something, because you miss out on quite vital information that you may need. Like this, so like a Class D amplifier, I kind of have an okayish idea of how to repair the majority of Class D amplifiers that come in. But like this circuit, for example, what Nicholas is talking about with the bootstrap, I haven't got a fucking clue about that or how it works or what its purpose was. And it's only from doing this repair now. So now I know for the future, if I see an issue where the amplifier won't build the Class D switch wave, but it will if I apply the RCAs or if I touch some stuff, then I know that there's an issue with the bootstrap section that Nicholas was talking about with a capacitor that's between the high side and the driver. So that is something that I have learned, but obviously without having someone explain that or telling me where to look, I wouldn't know that. So I'm going to continue my search now for this cap. And as luck would have it, there's actually one on the Banda. There's a Banda Viking 7K here that actually has a couple of these caps. It's a 4750G, which I think is the same. Yeah, it's the same. I think it's the same. Yeah. Nicholas said 25 cap is okay. Ah, okay. I wasn't sure. I don't like to put anything too lower voltage. I think I've got some here. It says 4750. Where are we here? This camera is so weird to just like mirrored backwards. 4750G. So I'm gonna drop one of those in from this Banda. Nicholas says read more data sheets. Yeah, that's a good shout actually. Every time I read a datasheet of an IC chip, like a driver IC, and I look at what the pins do and everything and how they work, and it slowly begins to make more sense. So that's a good idea. That is a good idea. So fingers crossed then. I'm really hopeful, because this BAMF has given me far too much headaches over the last week or so. Hopefully if I replace this capacitor, this will work, and we can bench test it and finally find out how much power does this piece of crap amplifier actually do. Here's one actually. Does anybody have any tips for removing? So these surface mount capacitors here, they obviously have a plastic shroud at the bottom, and the plastic shroud generally gets a little bit melty when you're applying the hot air to remove it from the board. Just wondering if there's any specific way, the special way that you're supposed to remove these from the board so that you don't melt the plastic. I've not figured that one out yet. I mean, it doesn't melt. It doesn't like actually super melt the plastic, but it's just, it kind of softens it a bit, and you know, There must be an easier way. Lower voltage caps usually have lower ESR, better for high frequency switching. Okay, so maybe I could put the maybe I could drop a 25 in there and it would be better. As long as there's not going to be any issues with having a 25 volt in there as opposed to a 50 volt. Let's try this one first. I'm going to try this one first, because it's the same value as the original. What actually is ESR? That's something that I'm not too familiar with. What actually is ESR on a capacitor? Is it something slew rate, perhaps? Electronic slew rate? That's literally just a wild guess. There we go. Evening, Lee. Just popping in to say hello. Good work, Sam. Good work, Sam. Mostly good work, Nicholas, so far. Lee, your build is coming on beautifully, by the way. I've been eyeing up the photos that you've been putting on the forum. Looks beautiful. Really nice work. You'll have to drop down and give me a listen at some point. Are you still using your pair of ground zero amplifiers on that build? Let me know. Equivalent series resistance. Ah, okay. What was I saying? Electronic slew rate? What the fuck? I don't know. Equivalent series resistance. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, so you want a lower yeah, that makes sense for high frequency switching. Okay, wicked. Okay. I preheat the PCB to 50 Celsius about, and then I use tweezers and a soldering iron. Oh yeah, I suppose I could probably get away with using the small tip soldering iron. Actually, that would work. I should probably keep a hairdryer in here for preheating these boards. Probably not a bad idea. Or like a larger heat gun to actually preheat the boards up. Okay then. Preheat the PCBs, you'll see a large difference desoldering. Okay. I'll do that. What I'll have to do is I do actually have a large heat gun here. So if I plug this thing in, when the next PCB that I do some soldering on, I shall preheat it, and I'll let you know if I notice the difference. I probably will. Because I remember a few people have said that actually. A few people have advised me to preheat the PCB before I start soldering. So it's probably good advice. I'll give that a go. Lauren is finally back. Yo, how's it going? We're almost possibly about to bench test this. So this now is the moment of truth. So we have fitted a new capacitor to this location that seems to be what was perhaps causing this thing to not work. It could be a fussy amplifier in that it needs a load on the outputs in order for the switching to build. I've seen that before on some amplifiers where it needs a load on the speaker terminals for the feedback loop to engage correctly. So we're going to try and power her on first without a load. So just after repairing that small capacitor there, I'm going to try it and power up again without a load and without any RCA signal either. So let's put our probe on the high side drive. Carlos says ESR is bullshit. Carlos says ESR is bullshit. Okay. Okay, moment of truth then. Drum roll, please. Brrr. Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Okay, so nothing yet, but this amplifier may need a kickstart. It may either need a load attached to the outputs. We're giving this thing 12.8 volts and it's drawing 0.7 amps. So let's try a load on the outputs first, see if that kicks it into operation. 4 ohm load, nope, 4 ohm load does not kick it into operation. So let's now try RCAs, because if the thing comes on and switches with the RCAs attached, and then if I remove the RCAs it continues to work, then that's fine. Ah no. Ah no. For fuck's sakes. Oh, man. I really had high hopes for that one. There's definitely something though about this section of the board, because I was fiddling around with it, wasn't I? Yeah, look, right? When I touch this, aha! Look, when I apply, what the? I reckon it must be a via or something around here. Actually seems slightly worse than before now. Okay, so now it's on. Now it's on. So now if I remove my RCAs, it does stay on. Okay, so we are making progress. We're making progress. So now I can get it so that I can make it come on, and I can make it stay on. Resolder around this site. Okay, good plan. Let's resolder around this area, and I'm also going to run any. I'm going to repair any vias. I'm going to hand solder any vias around that area. Yeah, now it's gone off. Now it's gone off again. Okay, right. Let's get it working again. Let's see what I touch. Let's see what I touch sorts it out. Let's get it working again. Come on. There we go. Oh wait, no, it's gone off again. Okay, yeah, working. No, it's not. Okay. It's definitely this part of the circuit. It's definitely, that's where the issue is. That is most certainly where the issue is. Hi, Nitfrost. Yo. Measure voltage across the cap, please. Okay, I'm not sure if I can actually get it to stay working again just now. I'm gonna try reflowing some of the solder around the area first, and then once I've done that, I'll measure the voltage across the cap, buddy. Base said 30 thinks it's a bad ground. I don't think it's a bad ground. It's definitely a feedback area issue. How did the Lanzar 7K go? The Lanzar 7K, I'm waiting for RS Components to post me out a 2113 driver IC. So as soon as I receive that in the post, we'll carry on with the Lanzar. I'm waiting for parts on that one. Check the traces to that cap. So let's see, where do the traces for that cap go? It goes to this. It goes to the diode here, and then it goes to this pin on the driver IC. And where does it get its? Where does it get the high side from? Is it from the underside of the board? Let's see. Doesn't seem to be the underside. Where is it getting the high side? I think it's getting it from the 330. I think it's getting it from the 33 ohm resistor, perhaps. I'll tell you one thing though. What does everybody think of that low side drive wave? That's the low side drive wave looked a bit funky to me. It was far too triangular. It was like a really curved step up and then a sharp down. That didn't look too good to me. But I don't know. What does everyone think about the low side drive waves that we looked at? Does it look good or nah? Driver IC, what's the part number? The part number for the driver IC is an IR2113S. It's the same driver which is used in the Lanzar, I think. I think the Lanzar used the same driver as this that I just ordered. The Lanzar uses the larger through-hole package version. Low side looked like it was charging a big cap. Yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of resistance in between the driver and the gates. We've got a 33 ohm on a single 33 ohm and a single 33 ohm on the high side and low side at the driver side. And then at each gate leg we've got a 220 ohm. It's very high value gate resistors on these amps. Alright, so I've reflowed the solder, so let's see if that makes any difference. And now I'm going to measure the voltage across that cap for Nicholas. Okay, so nothing yet. Doing the same thing, it's not coming on again. So let's give it some RCAs. Okay, so it's not staying on like it was before. So before I could get it to stay on just by touching it and getting it working. So I've reflowed the solder joints around this area. So if I can hold it so that it's working, and also measure the voltage for Nicholas at the same time, perhaps. How do I make it work again? Switching frequency, good question. I'll tell you when it comes on again. Switching frequency is, come on, 120 kilohertz. Try to apply heat. Okay, let's try applying a little bit of heat. So he doesn't really seem to be doing much. What I might try and do is I might try and bridge over some connections. So if I take a small piece of wire, okay, then I could bridge over some of the traces to mimic their path to see if any of them are broken. Because if the path is broken, then jumping over the trace will make it work for that short time that I jump over, perhaps. The output MOSFET is a IRFP 260N. Another technician that I know quite well has worked on these amplifiers, and he said that he tried changing the gate resistors for lower values, but the amp didn't like it. The only thing that made it work was fitting the original 220 ohm gate resistors. So I was like, okay, wow, really? I thought it was way too high. Josh says, Sam, I just joined you. I see what you're trying to do, but what board is that? This is the Banff, the Power Acoustics Banff 5000. Okay. Maybe it just needs a load. Okay, so check this out, okay? I'm going to remove my RCAs. So obviously when the customer has this amplifier, right? So he's going to have a load connected at all times, yeah? Right, so let's apply a 2 ohm load. Okay. So I'm going to whack this in here. I'm going to apply, I mean it's still not right. There's something still not right with it. But if it's gonna work and not not conk out, then I don't really give a fuck at this point. So I'm gonna put a 2 ohm load on the board. Okay. What's up from Ohio, Corey? So this amplifier works when I touch it. So I have the magic touch. I got the magic stick. I'm the love doctor. So it works when I touch it, and we're trying to find out why. Nicholas has had some really good ideas. I think we've nailed down the area of the amplifier where the fault is. So I'm just trying to work out what makes this thing work. So now I've applied a 2 ohm load. So without the RCAs, does it come on? Without any signal trying to kick it into operation? No, it doesn't. Ah, it's trying. It's trying. It didn't used to try before. It's trying. It didn't used to try before without RCAs. So now if I kickstart it with some RCAs, there we go. So I just kickstart it with some RCAs, and now the amplifier stays on. But will it stay on indefinitely? That is the question. Let's view the low side drive at the same time. Nicholas says the gate charge and input capacitance is very, very high. Large resistors would not be able to switch efficiently. You'd get cross conduction across the high and low side FETs. I tried changing the gate resistors for a lower value, but it didn't seem to help. It seemed to make it worse, in fact. So do you think I should try that? Should I try changing the gate now that we've got it to a point where maybe it's kind of almost working again? Should I try and change the gate resistors for, like, I don't know, rather than 220 ohm, I could drop it down to 100 ohm perhaps, like halve it, maybe? Okay, so now let's have a look at the low side drive. Let's compare it to the high side drive. So, I mean, the low side drive looks pretty nasty to me, like, it's fucking... So that to me looks like as a result of, whatchamacallit, high value gate resistors. If I probe the actual driven high side, so I was probing I was probing the resulting drive of the low side. So if I probe the actual high side drive, oh, now it's not fucking working again. Now it is. Okay, so it just right. It still looks kind of alright. So this bottom one's now the actual high side drive. It's kind of slopes upwards. See that? It kind of slopes upwards a little bit. Make sure you have 12 volts across the cap when it's working. Okay, let's do that thing for Nicholas that he's been asking me to do for so damn long. Oh man, fucking thing turns off again. Oh, right, check this out, okay? If I bash the table... There's definitely some connection loose somewhere, or there must be something. Nope, it did it before I touched it that time. Okay, so now it's got bad again. Yeah, now it's got bad again. It's not happy. So it kind of comes in and out. I'm gonna try and get it working again so we can measure the 12 volts that that Nicholas wants us to measure. Right, come on, stay working for me. Damn it, it's just gone off. Right. How long do you stay working for? I'm going to give you a bit more voltage. I'm going to crank your voltage up a little bit more, so that hopefully you maybe stay working for a bit longer. Right, 13.4 volts now. So let's measure. Do we have 12 volts across the cap? Oh, for fuck's sakes! Whenever I go to measure, it cuts out on me. No, we've got like minus 0.6. Are you sure there should be 12 volts across that cap? Because it has the high side switch on both sides. 0.2, etc. So, Nicholas, across that cap we don't have 12 volts at all, we have something else. So, should I try lower value gate resistors maybe? I mean, there's obviously still a problem, but... Nicholas says it should be 12 volts. Okay. So how does it get 12 volts across it? Because on both sides of that cap we have the high side switch. So how does it get 12 volts across it? How's your day going? Stressful. The driver IC may be at fault. I thought the driver IC could be at fault, but I changed the driver IC and it had the same symptoms. It was exactly the same. The issue is at the high/low side driver. So shall I try and change the driver IC? Because I changed the driver IC before and it didn't make a difference. So, what should I do next? You can vote on this. Should I change the gate resistors from 220 to 100? That's number one. Should I change the driver IC from a 2113S to a 2101? Sorry, from a 2... Right, I can change the driver IC from a 2113 to a 2010 which is a better driver IC. It's exactly the same, it's just a bit better. Could you freeze staff? I have no idea what you're talking about, Thomas. So you have a broken connection somewhere. So is the broken connection the reason that I haven't got 12 volts across the capacitor? Warp the PCB a bit in that area. Okay, let's try. It's doing something. Yes, it's doing something. So it is a bad connection somewhere. Look, when I bashed the board, it was. Or is it just coincidence? Alright, so we definitely have a broken connection somewhere, but where that broken connection is, I have fucking no idea. Because I've gone through all of these traces pretty much. So the only thing I can do now is to just hardwire every single trace wherever it's meant to go. I guess that's the only thing that I've got left to do. Like, yeah, I bash it, it starts to kind of work. It doesn't matter where I bash it though. It doesn't matter where I bash it. I can bash it over here and it kind of does the same thing. So the broken connection could literally be anywhere. Yeah, it is definitely a broken connection, right? Because if I this is the attempt. So this is the drive wave attempt, okay? This is its attempt at switching. If I bash it, if I bash it, it goes away. So it's definitely a poor connection somewhere. Is there a voltage on pin 3 of the IC? Let me see. Pin 3 of the IC, what do we have? On pin 3 of the IC we have a mess. You see that? You see the mess on pin 3 of the IC? We have a mess. So is it potentially whatever's meant to be on pin 3 is the problem? Is the mess here? I don't know. Oh, sorry, no, on pin 3 we have, I'll have my scope to the wrong setting. On pin 3 we have, what do we have? Something. Yeah, sorry, on pin 3 we have negative 53 volts, which is our negative rail, I think. On pin 3 we have our negative rail. No, it's not. It's, what's that? 12 volts above our negative rail. So pin 3 is like a 12 volt reference or something. I really want to bench this thing, you know. That's why I want it to work, because I want to bench it. You should have VCC, i.e. 12 volts. Yeah, Nicholas. Here we do have. I have 12 volts referenced to negative rail. So it's obviously taking the ground point as negative rail. Use your thermal camera for shorts. That's not going to work because wherever the bad connection is on the board, it's obviously quite a low current area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these vias and see if that changes anything. There's a few ground vias that I didn't touch, so I'm going to go ahead and do all the ground vias, see if that changes anything. The chip is a 2113. We're working on output section, buddy. It should be the supply to drive the output low side driver, and the bootstrap diode is connected to this point, so to get the high side voltage. Do you mean that as pin 3? Yeah, it's referenced to negative rail, yeah. I think there's a massive delay on the stream, by the way. The things are coming through. So if you're watching the live chat, when you comment, the amount of time from when you hit enter on your comment to the amount of time when it pops up on my screen is the delay time. So I think there's quite a heavy delay at the moment. How's the stream for most other people? The stream seems okay my end. I've not dropped that many frames. I've dropped a few frames, but not that many. Stream no good to me. Oh no, stream seems bad. Okay, I'm not dropping any more frames my end. I'm going to check my YouTube in a sec and see what it's saying. Low video output. Ah, crap. Now it seems healthy again. Weird. Okay. You didn't miss much. We haven't got any further with this bullshit. And something else that just pissed me off is I removed this small IC. Oops, what the fuck? Where's that gone to there? I don't want that to go to Chrome. Ah, my shortcuts have messed themselves up. There we go. So I removed this small IC because I wanted to get to one of the vias that was underneath it, and the board hasn't marked which way round the chip goes. And I didn't take note of it before I removed it, so I'm going to have to scroll back through my stream and find out which way around that thing went. It's not high enough resolution, I can't tell. Okay, so I'm not too sure why the stream quality is bad, so I'm going to lock the stream off just now. I'm going to shut the stream down just for a moment while I work out what's going on with this and work out which way around this IC is meant to go on. because I can't figure it out because it doesn't have the markings on the board for which way round it's meant to go. It's probably the same way round as the other two, so I'm going to guess it's the same way round as the other two. Anyway, I'm going to lock off the stream and hope that by locking the stream off, the quality gets better when I restart. So apologies for the stream quality, guys. I've no idea why. OBS is not showing that it's outputting low video. My internet connection is fast, so apologies. I will see you guys in a bit when I've hopefully sorted out these issues.